Welcome to the semifinals. Kolohe Andino and Julian Wilson battling out for a spot in the finals.
Earlier I had a really tough tussle in the round 4 with, I'll just try my best, that's all I could do.
Andino trying to get a quick start. Lighting up a big section off the roof.
Had a really slow heat here yesterday. It's just about not getting down. That kind of consumes me.
Super hollow, deep in the pit. Wilson gets shut out.
I tell you, if I'm Kolohe, I'm super nervous.
4 surfers remain in contention here at the Uluwatu CT. Kolohe Andino chasing his first championship tour victory. He's got to get past Julian Wilson for that opportunity. And he's kicking this one off quickly. Couple of big hits on the outside. This is a guy with a mean backhand and a solid finish to kick off semi-final number 1. Right behind him, Julian Wilson. If he can progress through this heat, he can get the yellow jersey back after a victory at the first stop. That wave, it's not going to match up well against Kolohe's first ride. That score is coming through, and it's looking pretty solid. A 6.83 for Andino. Ronnie Blakey with Strider Wasilewski. This is going to be a lot of fun. Julian, so much experience in the finals. 3 surfers chasing their first championship tour win. But Andino off to a flying start here.
I mean, I feel like this is the look that we saw out of Kolohe Andino when we saw him terrorizing over in Fiji when he started really heating up in this size surf. I feel like he's got the edge over Julian in head-high lefts. I think that he's got a tighter, quicker turn as opposed to a more powerful and stronger in the arc as Julian.
So Wilson up. Amazing comeback against Jordy Smith to make it to this point in the draw. Eyeing off that yellow jersey. Flowing nicely down the line here. Bit of a wobble on the landing from that float though.
I don't know if those big bowls are going to be on offer like we saw for Julian to come through that heat with Jordy. So far he's cleaning up some smaller waves, but not really on point. A little fumble off the beginning and then right there just kicking out, not having complete control. And that's what you want right now to progress through to the final. Complete control of the heat.
He's up again. Wilson stalling. And that wave just clamping up on him there. So a couple of efforts, no big numbers dropped. Holding a 3.43 as his highest ride at the moment. Andino still out in front with that 6.83. But a huge opportunity for Julian. The rest of those surfers at the top end in that title talk have fallen out of the mix. He gets through this one. He's back in that yellow jersey, heading to J-Bay, where he has final before. But Andino looking for a solid backup number now. Maybe even something stronger. Looking alive and inspired here in semi-final number 1. This one is going to fade away, though. He's going to get out of there. Fun matchup, though, isn't it?
It was an interesting decision to kick out of that way without a finish. I mean, I know it wasn't going excellent, but it would have been a little bit higher of a score. You never know if you're going to need that in the end.
Still edges ahead of Julian, though. 3.57. So still bettering any of Julian's high scoring rides at this point.
He looks quick, fired up, pushing nicely into that corner. I love the way he comes out of his turns. Watch this. Boom. That end of it right there where he pushes extra hard on the fins. That's the kind of surfing I like, and he does it in these tight transitions on the backhand. Whereas Julian, he puts it up and he kind of whips it into the lip. I don't really see that speed flow out of the end of his turns.
I love Kolohe's backhand. I think his timing is always on point. I love how vertical he goes up into those maneuvers. We've got a board change out there in the lineup.
I like that. I feel like Julian wasn't feeling it, and you could see it in his surfing when he was catching his first couple of waves. I feel like the waves are a little more compressed and smaller, and he needs to have some equipment that's going to fit that style of surfing.
And if you're going to make an equipment shift up, if you're looking for a different feel, now's the time to do it, early in the heat. Get something different under your feet, and well, if that one doesn't work, you can always go back to your first option.
Settle into it, though, right? That's what you're saying?
But he's definitely started this heat off well, Kolohe Andino. And a big opportunity for him. You look at the lineup and the form shown on the bottom half of the draw, I do feel like the winner of this semi-finals going to have a real edge going into that final clash. Just a bit more firepower in the top half of the draw.
You know, it's interesting. On paper, it's looked that way, but then you see the damage these guys have done. What Willian and Mikey have just been mashing through. Here they are in the semifinals. It's pretty impressive.
I'm thinking about
the underdogs.
I'm thinking about the numbers, though. The big numbers have been dropped by those guys in the top half of the draw, and they've both got a lot to serve for. Obviously, everyone left in the mix does, but I guess another interesting takeaway, Strider, looking at the Final Four, is the fact that we've got all regular footers, the backhand prevailing here at Uluwatu, where we really felt the goofy footers were going to hold an edge.
Well, I think when we're watching free surfing clips, right, that's what we were seeing. And we have definitely taken a note and a lesson out of that book. Do not rest your decisions on the free surf clips.
That's so true. As Andino picks off ride number 3, catching that nose rail for a moment, but picks up some speed to try and get down the line. Won't find the open face again on this one. So unlikely that he's going to improve his situation here. Julian selling him onto that wave.
And I feel like that the reason why all the regular foots have prevailed here is that ability to square off the bottom and throw it vertical into the lip line. And that's where the point of difference is, I think, with the backhand surfers, and that's something that's really fun to watch and pull out. We were seeing that a bit kind of at Bells, you know, with Italo going right up into the bowl whenever he wanted to. On the backhand, you really have that ability to put it up here into the lip, either progress through the lip and turn out of it with speed, or throw the tail out, as you'd see most, you know, frontsiders do, if they can get it up there vertically.
Andino still out in front at this point. Julian Wilson chasing a 6.97 and going for a board change, Rosie.
Yeah, that's right. Just getting on a piece of equipment that he, is more familiar with. He said that he kind of hasn't had as many reps on that previous board, so wanted to get something under his feet that he's a bit more comfortable with. So no damage to the equipment, but just feeling like he kind of wanted that level of comfort out here in this lineup.
Andino chasing his first win. Rosie, is today going to be the day?
Oh, what a question. I mean, he's looking so on at the moment. We know how capable he is in waves like this. He's proved it in Fiji, Tahiti. So could this be the one where he kind of gets that win? I don't know. I'm kind of feeling like Kolohe is switched on at the moment, Ron.
The most final surfer strider on the championship tour without a victory. He's looking good so far. 6.83. An inspired approach, but Julian, he's also got a lot on the line here.
Yes, he does. You know, it was an interesting call out by him earlier. I just wanted that jersey after the Gold Coast. You know, that's where he wanted to be.
On the Gold Coast, when he got to that first event next season.
That's what he, that's the feeling he was after. And so it's just interesting to look at the headspace there, that it matters then, and that's got to ring true. It doesn't matter until the end, right?
Well, that's true. Mind you, anytime you get the opportunity to jump back into the lead on the ratings, I think you take it. Just over 20 minutes remaining here. A beautiful shot here of Uluwatu. So fun being back here on the Bukit Peninsula. It's been a long time. And we're loving what the surfers are able to bring today. The conditions really holding true. Really clean out there at the moment. Andino stuffing himself inside that one. Not finding the exit, though.
That's hard out there right now. The tide is starting to push in over that reef, so the tubes are going to be a little more almondy and kind of filling up with water, especially these smaller ones. But as it ran away from him down the line, his last heat had a lot of really hollow waves down the line there, and the waves were really cupping out and big barrels were flying through that inside racetrack. And I think that's changing a bit right now, so the game plan would have to change as well with it.
Yeah, 2008, the last time we had a championship tour here on the Bukit Peninsula. And it was run here at Uluwatu, finished up down at Padang. Bruce Irons getting his only championship tour victory there. Who's going to break through in 2018? Julian chasing championship tour number 5. Kolohe after his first, and on the bottom half of the draw, 2 guys who haven't had a shot at a championship tour and haven't cracked the final of a CT event just yet. one of them's going to do it today. 18 and a half minutes remaining here, and Dino still out in front. Let's hear from one of our finalists on the women's side with Kaipo. It's Joanne Defay.
Joanne, you sat out there with priority, being patient, but then you made it happen on that last wave. How do you stay focused during that time?
Oh, well, hard to say. Like, I'm always focusing on what's coming, and there's like so many lines out there, and you're like, next one. And then it's just like, it did not came like that much. I don't know. I thought it was a bit bigger. Maybe the tide is coming in or something. Yeah, I probably should not have done that. Probably I should have. It's more comfortable to like surf a bit more and stuff. But yeah, I don't know, so happy to get that last one, and I feel very comfortable out there. So I just really wanted to surf. Actually, that was definitely not my plan, but it just happened like that sometimes.
Well, speaking of comfort, you come from a left-hand reef break. You've won a championship tour event at a left-hand reef break at Fiji. Talk about your comfort here at Uluwatu, another left-hand reef break.
I know. We don't have many, so I hope to make it count. And yeah, it's just I love those waves, and I feel very good on it. So I just need to surf a bit more, give myself more opportunities, and I hope I can make it happen like a bit quicker in the next one.
Congratulations. We'll see you in the final.
Thank you, Kaipo.
Thank you, Kipes. 17 minutes remaining here in semi-final number 1, but that is going to be a really interesting final. Joanne Defay has her hands full. Tatiana Weston-Webb, definitely the most informed surfer on the women's side. Just really looking to get herself right into the title talk. She's making up great ground on Stephanie Gilmore and Lakey Peterson by just making this last heat of the women's contest. Right now, though, Julian Wilson up on this board, already looking better in that first turn. Solid start of this ride. A few ribs to deal with. No problem for Wilson. Climbing up on the roof. Can he hold on to this one? Plants it. Solid finish. After a 6.97. Will it go there?
I love it. I think switching up to that board, and you just never know what it's going to look like, right? And even the surfer wouldn't know, because you know you're out in the water, you don't know exactly what's going to happen. But he gets up straight up into that corner, and that was vicious as he just planted the board perfectly in the lip and timed it, throwing spray, dealing with the ribs and that water coming across. All that water is from other waves coming down the reef. They just fill down the reef, and those are the remnants of other waves coming down at it. And slamming it up there for that finish move. Pretty dynamic. A little drama in there, probably built up a bit by Julian. I like it.
Always hard to stick those floaters too when you've got that clean sort of offshore spray coming up into your face. You can't even really see your equipment under your feet. So Julian, desperate to cling onto that one, waiting on the numbers to come through. Needed a 6.97 to get himself out in front. Big crowd filling in to watch finals day play out here. Things are looking pretty quiet down there on the Air Asia athlete deck. We are whittling down the field.
It's the best, right? Everybody's packing up and moving on, and the Air Asia athlete area down there is just so perfect to just sit, get ready, and relax and look into the next heats. You can watch everything down there. The replays are going on.
Well, this is a close heat at the moment. Julian Wilson has just got himself the lead, a 7.33. And Julian, you could see that once he got himself on a quality wave, he looked pretty sharp, but definitely a great choice to step onto this board. Yeah, that first turn, you could just see how much more comfortable he was.
That changed everything for him, and you could see the other board not confident under his feet, and all of a sudden, bang, he jumps up, and he starts looking really quick.
Now thinking about getting rid of that 3.43 and extending his lead here. Andino's got priority. Really solid matchup. Both these guys have the similar weapons on the back end. Both great tube riders, both really strong backhand turns out of the hook, and both know how to stomp the backside air reverse as well. Julian has picked off one that's reeling off pretty nicely through that inside section. Bit lumpy, hard to read, but probably better than the 3.43.
Yeah, definitely. Following it up.
Andino, he's looking to line up the inside section. Thinking barrel. This thing's starting to throw open. Sticks his butt in the wall of the wave. He'll find his way through that first section. More points on offer here. Climbs up in the lip. There's that vertical hit. And not done with this one just yet. clean wave. Julian's just eyeing the surface for Kolohe to make his run through this inside track. And he's able to rack up some solid maneuvers on the back end. What a ride for the Californian. What a barrel. He just took his time, and that is sometimes hard to do on a wave that is threatening to reel off, to really put yourself back in it.
My favorite part of the wave, the turn after he came out of the barrel. Come through, you know, you got all that speed, and then you just get to unload on a section. It's one of the best feelings in the world to combo all that energy and then throw it up. These little waves, they start out small, but gosh, they grow so quickly into the corner. And that's why Julian picked up this wave, because he saw it growing down the line with a lot of opportunity on it. So it had a lot of open face. He's figuring, okay, I'll get a couple of good turns in here. Without priority, you need to do that.
This is a gift, though.
Oh, this thing just ramped in. Looked like he got towed in. And you could see it coming, so he just dropped his bum into that wave, slowed himself right down. This turn, bang! That way you can go from the transition and so quickly go vertical up into that bowl after coming out of the tube. That is just the best feeling in the world. And the score will reflect in it, because you can see how easy that was for him. And though it looked pretty effortless, there was a lot of technical ability to keep, like you said, the pace of that into the corner. This was the view right off the bat from out the back as the wave started. So he got a nice floater off before we even came into this thing. And then he just came to the inside, saw it coming. You can see the lump kind of doubling up in front of him. Just beautiful positioning. Dragged his arm and his body in it. And then right here, whips it. Wham! Just straight up into the bowl. So really fast, clean surfing. And I think he favors the backhand more than anything.
Yeah, he's got some definite weapons on the forehand too, but I think you're right. I think when he gets on the backhand, his confidence goes up a notch. That was a really well put together ride. Just the flow from the beginning. You've mentioned it throughout this contest. You know, if you're just trying to drive around that white water, you do sort of come into the flatter sections, lacking a bit of speed, and it can trip you up a little bit, that white water. Kolohe confident on his feet at the moment, floats over those first couple of sections, sets up that barrel beautifully, and drops the highest score of this heat so far, a 7.7. Back in front now. Julian Wilson looking for a 7.21. What a heat.
And it's a danger kind of position to put yourself, right? Getting close to the white water. You never know. There's no sure road through that. There could be just a little push, take you off, and all of a sudden, you know, that wave goes from a 7.7 to nothing, or 7.33 to 7.70 to nothing. You'd be just so bummed if you didn't have that flow through the white water, but it sets you up. The risk you take is for the setup and the reward of having a great wave.
I want to have you break down the comparison of Julian's 7.33 and Kolohe Andino's 7.7. Pretty close in the spread there for the two competitors.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much separating the two waves, so 0.4 of a point, it's not, I mean, that's just hairs, really.
So where were the points for Julian Wilson? He definitely exploded on the first turn, and we know that the judges love that when you get straight off the bottom into that critical section straight away.
I think the reason why they loved Julian's wave was the speed that he went into it and the flow that he had, because, you know, these turns that he's doing, they're really quick, vertical snaps, and he's coming out of them with speed and throws it straight back up into it. It got a little slow in the middle there, but he finished dramatically, which is something I think is a big point of contention. Whereas at the end of Kolohe's wave, there wasn't a dramatic finish, but the beginning of it was fun, and the meat was in the middle. So it was kind of bookended by not soft surfing, but there wasn't any crazy dynamic maneuvers on the ends, whereas Julian had it in the beginning and the end. But the tube and the one real vertical snap that Kolohe had, and the size of the wave and the section was definitely more consequential, so they gave him the nod.
All right, let's watch this wave unfold. See what Julian can do. Throws the air reverse. I personally felt there might have been a bit more separation, a bit more reward for Kolohe. Just the way he put that wave together, it just seemed silky smooth. I love Julian's first turn, but I felt the second turn just didn't have that steep section for him to really lay it over. But the finish certainly made up some points for him. And that's been well rewarded. these past two events. Andino loading up. He is out in front, chasing something better than a 6.83 to extend his lead here. Nice slice off the top. Big bash there, really extending that back foot, moving a lot of water. And he really found his flow, had a great rhythm on that wave. And he's throwing the peace signs up. Hasn't had much to celebrate through the season, but letting everyone know he's having a good time at the moment.
Well, that was the Richard Nixon. He just felt it off the end there, threw up the double peace signs. Look at how perfect this wave is, ladies and gentlemen. Uluwatu is producing the good speed lines down through the bowl, finally sets it up for a big float, and then goes right to work in the lip line, pushing the fins, solid surfing. That was the best turn. And then slams it home right there. Nothing crazy off the end. Could have been a little more dynamic, but definitely going to go right there with that, you know, I think the 7-7.
Waiting on the numbers to come through. Just over 7.5 minutes to go. We'll find out if Kolohe Andino extend his lead over Julian Wilson in just a moment. Semi-final time here at the Uluwatu CT. Julian Wilson up against Kolohe Andino, and Julian has the opportunity to get back in the Jeep Leaders jersey if he can crack the final of this event up at the moment. And he's chasing a score. Needs a 7.21. Nice big tail drop float to get started. Gets that board up into the pocket a couple of times to follow it up. And a clean finish as well. So Wilson, not a bad ride there. Andino, he had a 6.83, so matched his first ride. With that last number. And here is Julian on the replay. What did you make of this one, Strider?
A smaller wave. He got a little hung up right there, but then he did, you know, have a couple of nice little vertical slams to finish up on the inside there. Nothing crazy. He could better the second wave there, but I don't think it's going to go crazy.
Well, he needs a 7.21. Great heat unfolding here. Two surfers in amazing form. Close exchanges so far. Andino holding a bit of an edge. The numbers in for the last exchange. Julian a 5.4, not enough. He's got priority. He's out there. The waves are firing here on finals day. And just give him an opportunity. He's surfing great.
I was just going to say, you know, the waves are really good. And that last wave that Kolohe had an excellent score on it. And I feel like he backed off the pedal just a hair on that last turn. And I feel like it almost hindered the score line. Because if he would have really attacked that last turn, it would have come away with a different score.
I think the judges are sensing the form of these two competitors and really expecting that we're going to see some big exchanges in the final moments here. 4 minutes to go, and Wilson really drops a bomb on that first section. Solid hit. Climbs up onto the roof again, just trying to get some speed for this maneuver. Nice carve. Has room to move down the line. Wants a solid finish here. Tucks into the barrel. Punches through. Out in front of it again, into the bowl. Working hard. It's a marathon event today for these competitors, surfing a number of times for the opportunity to get themselves into the final. Wilson finishes with something strong on the inside, adding the progression. And that's been well rewarded, so a bit of risk to finish that one off.
Well, he's going to fire up Kolohe right there. That's for sure. Here, you can hear the bluff out there. You can hear the people. You can know what's going on, the energy. It's going to get real good right now.
I think I can hear people back in Australia cheering too, because Julian's their best chance at a world title this season, it seems. He has a big opportunity here if he makes the final. Strider back in yellow for the second time this season.
That first turn was vicious. That was a little sleepy there, but then he comes around, cleans it up, pushes hard on the fins, sets it up through the inside here, and finds himself a quick little bit of cover. Not anything really, you know, pushing the score line very much there, but then he comes to the inside and finds himself a little pop where I didn't think there was anything left on this thing. He just very cleanly wrapped that wave up.
Just a finishing maneuver for Wilson at the end there, but it'll probably get the nod for one of the AirAsia Big Airs. But don't forget, you can have your say on who takes that $5,000 prize from AirAsia. But here's the replay from that drone perspective. I love this.
Yeah, it's beautiful. You get to see how much water's flying out the back. where they're doing the turns in the lip line, how deep in the tube they are, as well as, you know, whether it's clean or it's got a little white water in it. And watching this wave back, the first turn was where the real money was for me, you know, on this wave. The little backside 180 air was technical, but nothing crazy, right? So the score, I don't think is going to go, you know, nuts, but then again, we'll find out how they feel.
Well, just over 2 minutes to go, and Julian Wilson waiting for an update. Andino out the back. He's desperate to know what he's chasing going into these final stages. The number is in. It is a solid one. It is an 8.5 for Julian Wilson. Really flexing his repertoire on that wave.
That was a large score, an 8.5. I didn't see it going that high. I definitely thought that that first turn was amazing. Everything else in it, to me, was
so open to interpretation this heat.
Yeah,
it just depends on what the judges are awarding. I think Andino's had, for me, much better flow. I've just loved the way he's paced his rides. Julian, you can tell that he is trying to seize this opportunity to get himself in front, and he's surfing aggressively. But as a result, he's just losing a bit of that flow. He definitely put that last wave together well. Every time he basically turned up for a maneuver, the wave provided, milked a little barrel out of it, threw a bit of progression on the inside. The judges made that point earlier on. They would reward those risky maneuvers, but
like
it was at the end of the ride.
What you said right there was telling us. He was milking it. And that is something I felt like would have kept the score a bit lower. Judges not thinking so.
Well, have a look at that. Julian, if he gets into the final, he will take the Jeep Leaders jersey. Even if he finishes second, he'll be in yellow heading into Jeffreys Bay. 40 seconds remaining. Andino, can he turn this around? Needs an 8.14. I really feel like his surfing's there at the moment. I've loved some of his hits in this heat. The 7.7. That was a solid one. It just hasn't been able to back it up just yet. Time ticking by now. Andino back into the semi-finals here, but will he get a shot at this big number? 10 seconds remaining.
There's not a lot out there.
It's looking like Julian Wilson might just have done it.
And this one is being counted down. And Kolohe Andino bundled out by Julian Wilson. He is your new world number one. How far can he exceed or proceed ahead of his world title rivals? We'll find out. But we're going to take a quick break. When we return, Mikey Wright will take on William Cardoso.
Do you like that? Well, if so, subscribe over there and then watch more videos over there. And then tell us your favorite videos down there. It's a 3-step process. Do them all now.